Hello everybody, welcome to another video. This is the Christian Man, and today I'm going to teach y'all the Hebrew alphabet. But before I go into that, I need to tell y'all Hebrew is written from right to left instead of left to right. So it's going to be a little different, and the letters are way different. Some of them are anyway. Few of them are really close to Hebrew letters. And I think I'm going to take a break from Spanish. I think I'm going to focus on Hebrew. Spanish is a very common language that you find on YouTube. Hebrew, not so much, especially with modern day Hebrew. So I think I will teach y'all modern day Hebrew and go from there. And biblical Hebrew has vowels. Written vowels, that is. Modern day Hebrew has no written vowels. So you just got to learn the word and know how to pronounce it. Yeah, it's going to be a little different. There's some letters have two forms. But they're usually not too different from their original form, and the other form only occurs once in one spot in the word, at the end of the word. It's called a final version. And we're going to start with the first letter. The first letter is silent, and its name is Aleph. Okay? Aleph. And it does not have a sound, and this is one of two letters, that start a word that starts with a vowel sound. Words never start with a vowel, it always starts with a consonant. Words may end in a vowel or a vowel sound, but it's never starts with a vowel. The vowel sound could start a word, but written wise, consonants always start a word. And this is Aleph, and it does not make a sound. It's similar to the English X. Next we have Vet. Okay? And this is the second letter, makes the V sound, and we also have Bet, makes the B sound, and that's how you write bait. It's just like that. Basically Vet with a dot. But sadly, in modern day Hebrew, they don't have the dot. So you basically gotta learn the word and know what sound it makes, because that dot's not gonna be there to help you distinguish between the two. But anyway, that's bait. Without the dot is vet. Now we come to the next letter, and that is Gimel. Basically, upside down Y. Makes the hard G sound. And that is the fourth letter. Now we come to the fifth letter, and that is Dalet. And this one is basically an upside down backwards L with a little bit of a line, a little more of a horizontal line that comes past the vertical line, and it makes the D sound, and that is the fifth letter. Now we come to the next one, and this is going to be Hey. And yeah, basically how I learned how to spell hey in English is the name is basically English word hey, how you doing, kind of hey. There's 2 lines there, but it's supposed to be 1 line, and that's hey. That there's got to be that little gap right there, because if you don't have that gap, then it's a completely different letter, and it makes a different sound. But that's hey, makes the H sound, and now we move on to the next letter. The next letter could be written like with a small hook here, vertical line, or it could be written just with a single vertical line. It used to be called Vav. What I learned, that Vav is an older name, and it's not modern, and it doesn't make the V sound anymore. Now it makes the W sound, and it's called wow. Now we move on to a vowel, and the next 2 vowels, these first 2 here that I'm going to tell you all about, consist of a dot and the consonant wow. Okay, so we have hole and wow. So if you write it like that, basically like an I, but it's taller than an I, but it has a dot at the top, and then you have this one here, which will be at the top left if you were to write it like that. Now we come to, and before I move on, before I forget, this is Holum Wow is what the name of this one is, and it makes the long O sound. Long O. Okay? Now we come to the next vowel. And this vowel is called Shirik. Hold on. That's supposed to be an E right there. I almost wrote an I and a G for some odd reason. And then this makes the U sound. And this one is in the exact same spot both ways. And it makes the long U sound. Okay? Now we move on to the next consonant. Zion. Okay? And this one makes the Z sound. You have... Hold on, let me write that a little bit more clearly. Basically, it's like a T, but between the horizontal and the vertical line, you have a oblique line. It's a very small line, but yeah. The Zion makes the Z sound. Now we move on to the next letter of the alphabet, and this one is Ket. Okay? Anytime you see CH in English, when you're writing the sounds in English, always makes a hard K sound with your throat. And this is Chet. Okay? Basically, this is basically like the letter hey. Basically how you write it, but you're closing that gap, and it creates this letter called Chet. Okay? It makes a hard K sound with your throat. It will take some getting used to for sure. For those of you who are not used to it, it'll take a little bit of practice. You want to slowly introduce it, and you don't want to start out too much. You just want to do it you know, maybe for, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds. Just pronounce it, start slowly adding more and more to it so you can get used to it, because this letter does occur quite a lot in Hebrew, so it'll definitely, if you're not used to the letter, you'll definitely have to get used to the sounding of it. Next, we move on to the next consonant. And the next consonant is tet. Okay? It's basically a circle, just like, you know, an O, letter O. But you don't close it in. You'll basically make a U without that little tail, and you'll come in about halfway in between the two vertical line parts of it and kind of come down there just like that. And that makes the T sound. Now we move on to another letter. This letter is Yod. Okay? Basically, you know, just a small line. Basically like how we would write apostrophe. Basically is what it is. And this letter is Yod. Okay, it makes the Y sound. When it is combined with another letter, this consonant combines with a vowel. When it's right next to a vowel, and the vowel is right before it, it combines, the Yod and the vowel combine together, and it makes the sound of that vowel. And I'll get into some other stuff a little later on as well. I'll get into more sounding and everything when it's combined with different consonants and vowels as well. And now, moving on, we have got, which I believe this, I don't know, I get mixed up between two different ones. Make pretty much the exact same sound. This one will make two sounds, and the other one will make one sound, and that's at the end of the, not the last consonant, but the first to last. But this one is basically a backwards C. And if I am not mistaken, the name of this letter is Kaf. Okay? And it makes the K sound. Now, sometimes it does make the sound, just like with chet. And this does come up quite frequently, and I think the hard K sound with your throat, I think, is definitely quite frequent with this letter. And this is our first letter that has a final version. When it's written at the end of a word, you will write it like that. Yep, just like that. This bottom part will go just below the letters, the other letters. Basically like that. This part here doesn't go below. It's not supposed to go below, but basically in line with this, just like that. This part here of this letter goes above the other letters. This part goes below the letters. It doesn't have to really go too far below. But you know, just a little bit, because if you go too far below, then the line of words below will it'll show up in that. But anyway, and that's Kaf. You got the final version at the end of the word, and then you have anywhere else in the word it's written just like that. Now we come to the next letter, which is Lamed. And you saw me just put 3 words together. I really don't know if that's an actual word. I was just giving you an example of using that final version of Kaf. But this one here is Lamed. Basically, when you write this one, this spot here is written above the letter, and this spot here, the rest of it, is written in line with the letters. This here, basically, this horizontal line right here is going to be in line with the top, and this here is going to be in line with the bottom here. All right, that's Lamed. It makes the L sound. Now we come to our next letter, and this letter also has a final version as well. All right, and this one is Mem. Mem. All right, horizontal, upside down U, with a little bit of a line right there to the top left. Okay, that's Mem. It also it makes the M sound. It also has a final version. Basically, you make the letter Chet, but you close it in at the bottom. Basically, Chet with a line at the bottom. Basically, just like that. You got the final version. Basically, just to throw in some letters. Just to throw in some letters there. And this will be a letter that we'll talk about here in a minute. But basically, just to give you an example right there. And that's Mem. Final version, everywhere else in a word. Mem, and it makes the M sound. Next, we come to the letter Noon. Okay, it's written like that, but it's pretty much pronounced as noon. Just like the English word noon, basically. And it's written like that. It also has a final version. And it's written similar to Wow, but it has a little bit of a tail at the bottom, basically like that. And it's down there a little bit, just like the final version of the consonant Kaf. It'll be down there. It just won't have this horizontal line. You could put a little bit of a tail here, but you don't have to. But that's basically what it is. You get the final version. You got everywhere else. Just like that. And that's Noon. Makes the N sound. And next we come to the letter Fe. Fe. Alright. And this makes the F sound. This also has a final version. The final version is basically like this. And this little spot here goes below the letters as well. Basically, all you're doing is just making this horizontal line a vertical line is basically what you're doing with that. And that's all you're doing. You also have Pay, which makes the P sound with a dot. Basically, just like the relationship between Bait and Vait, you also have Pay and Fe. Next, we come to the next letter. Okay? The next letter also has a final version. This is the last of the final version letters. Okay? And the name of it is Tzadik. We don't have a letter that makes this sound, but we have two letters that makes this sound. And as T and S, this here. Okay? And those two letters, this one letter makes. Okay? I'll make that a little bigger for you. Basically an X, or actually a backwards Y that does not go below the line, with a horizontal line that goes to the left at the bottom, basically. Is basically how you write it. And it also has a final version. And basically all you're doing is just straightening out that, basically. Just like that. Basically in a backwards Y. So we got the final version, and we got the regular version. This is Tzadik, and it makes the TS sound. Alright, we're getting really close with the consonants being done. Next, we have Kuf. This is the other one. Between Kuf and Kaf, of which one is which, dealing with the name goes with which one. This one I do believe is Kuf. Okay. And this one makes the K sound. And that's basically how you write it. Basically write it with a P, just with a little bit of space in between there. It's basically a 2-line letter there. And that's Kuf. And next we come to the next letter, Resh. Okay. Now with this, I think they pronounce their R's differently, but I have not been able to find out how to pronounce it. I've tried. I probably just have to find somebody who is fluent in Hebrew and knows how to pronounce it correctly. I just pronounce it with an English R. I really don't know, but I think they pronounce it differently than in English. But to know for a fact, I do not know. I'll have to update y'all guys when I find out about it. Exactly how they pronounce it. But yeah, once again, I have not been able to find out really. And I'm still learning this language, and I am definitely enjoying it. And I'm still learning it though. There's still a lot that I don't know. And I'm basically sharing with you guys what I do know. And and I hope you enjoy this language learning as much as I do, or at least enough to keep going with it. And yeah. So this letter is Resh, makes the R sound. And once again, I really don't know how they pronounce the R's. I think they are different. But this is the second to last letter, or you could say the third to last letter, because technically there are 3 more letters. Alright, next we come to Sin and Shin. Now this one I do get confused of which is which. But please correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe this is Shin and this is Sin. Any of you guys out there that are Hebrew, fluent in Hebrew, please correct me on anything on these videos if I'm wrong. Or bring up something that I don't know. Exactly, because I'm learning this with you guys, basically teaching y'all what I know, or what I've been taught. So, this is Sin and Shin, makes the S sound and the SH sound. Once again, with these dots here, they are not in modern day Hebrew, so you will just have to learn it. What it makes, and you'll just have to learn it as it is. But anyway, that is that. Now we come to the last and final letter of the alphabet, as far as the consonants go anyway. And this is Tav. Now, there's with one thing that I found out, that if you have a dot in there, then it's TH, or it's T with the dot, and TH without the dot. Something like that. But in another instance, I found out that it never talks about that. So any of y'all that know Hebrew, please let me know about this. Because I would like to know for sure if this is true, that TH makes a TH sound with or without a dot, if the dot is even there. That changes the sounding of the letter. But anyway, this is the final letter, and we're going to move on to the rest of the vowels. And I'm basically going to write Aleph. It's silent, and just now noticed that I somehow left out 2 letters, and I'm not sure how I did that. Alright, so before we get into the vowels, I need to do this right now. So basically, what I missed is Ayin. This is the other silent letter. No, that's not right. Hold on. I guess I forgot how to spell it in English. But Ayin. And then you have Samek. Basically an O that makes an S sound, and this is the other silent letter. I just now noticed I missed that. These do not have final versions. Alright, and I'm pretty sure I did not miss anything. I'm pretty sure I got everything now. Okay, so vowels wise, you're not really gonna write them unless you wanted to. But yeah, sometimes you may, sometimes you may not. It just depends. Me personally, rather write the vowels if I know what the vowels are. But anyway, so that's Aleph. So I'm going to use Aleph basically just to show you the vowels, where they go on the letter and everything. Aleph is a very common silent letter to use to teach where the vowels go and everything. So we're going to start with Holum, and that goes right up here, top left of the consonant, and that makes the long O sound. Alright, and that once again is Holum. Basically just like Holum Wow. Holum is this guy here, and Wow is that guy, or just up and down line. And I think this one here is a very common way to write Wow. But anyway, and that is Holum, makes the long O sound. Next, we come to let's do tsere. Okay, let's do tsere. And that is 2 horizontal dots. And it's a cross between the long A sound and the short E sound. It's kind of a mixture of both. It's also in Spanish. The E also makes it in Spanish. It's, yeah, basically like that. Sarah. All right. Next we come to Hirik. So let's do Hirik next. That's basically a single dot underneath the letter. Okay, makes the long E sound. All right, that's Hirik. Next, we come to in the rare vowels that you won't see really hardly ever. I'll save for last. But you also have schwa. Horizontal, it's vertical 2 dots. I've heard it called schwa or schwa, you know, a couple different ways. Shiva, maybe. But it's basically this here. Underneath the letter. And this letter, it's silent at times, but it has a quick, short English E sound. But it's, you know, really quick. It's like there's no vowel there. They don't really actually consider it a vowel. Yeah. So that's that. And I'll tell you more dealing with schwa in combination with different vowels with that as well. Next we come to let's do comets. Oops. There we go. Comets. This makes the short O sound ah. Alright. Basically like a tiny T underneath the consonant. And that's comets, and it makes the ah sound. Next we come to another ah sounding vowel. Pathic. Okay, pathic. And it also makes the ah sound. And this is where it gets into that there's more than one vowel that makes one sound. And that's why I was saying if I knew which vowel it was, then I'd write it. Well, this is one of those things. Because comets and pathic both make the same sound, which can get a little confusing. So, here in a minute, I'll tell you something else dealing with this vowel here in just a couple minutes. Next vowel, before I tell you more about comets, that we're going to talk about is not as rare as this last vowel I'm going to tell y'all before the combination of different letters and everything. This is definitely going to be a longer video, but there's definitely a lot to talk about. You have kibitz, and I may have that wrong. It may be backwards. It may actually be written like this. Actually, I think it's written like that. But it's an oblique line of 3 dots. And this is kibitz. It is pretty rare. It makes the long U sound. I have not seen this very often. Usually it's shirik that you see. that makes the long U sound than kibitz. It does show up, but it does not show up very often. So this is one of those things that you could call a rare, but not the rarest vowel. And one vowel that I did skip by accident before getting into the rare ones was Sigol. I did skip this one. But this is Sigol. It makes the short E sound. Alright, now let's get into the rarest vowel. And this one is basically written just like another vowel. But basically you can assume it's the other vowel than this vowel. Because literally it's so rare that you can always assume it's the other one than this one. Okay? And this one is comets. Okay, so it could be comets, or it could be comets hatuf. This one makes the ah sound, and this one makes the long O sound. Okay? This one here is very common. This one, super, super, super rare. Out of all the letters, or I mean words that I've learned, I don't think I've ever seen this before. I've always seen this here. Now, like I said, between this one here and Pathic, it's hard to tell which was which unless you learn the word with either or. But anyway. Next, we come to combinations of vowels. I think we'll start with schwa. So you'll have vowels like Sigol written with schwa, or you would have Pathic written with schwa, or you could have, I don't think comets is really written with schwa. But you could have Tsere written with schwa. I don't think Hirik is ever written. I could be wrong. No, actually it may be. But it basically it makes the same sound as without schwa. But it's basically a reduced vowel. Is basically what it is. And, yeah, basically schwa could be written with the other ones. Next, we're gonna come to a vowel and yod combination. Now, this one here, basically, with the yod present, basically makes the same sound as what it does down here. That's basically what it is. Any vowel that goes down here, except for schwa, combined with this, just makes the sound of whatever's down here. Holum, I don't think goes with. I don't think will go with yod. I don't think they have a one sound relationship or whatever. Holum Wow and Shirik, the same thing. Next, we're gonna come to some consonants combined with yod that I just recently found out about. And before, I never really knew this before, but I'm about to tell y'all about this right now. So, y'all remember Gimel, right? The upside down Y. Well, with Gimel combining with yod, basically makes the J sound a soft G sound. Basically what it makes. Okay? And when you have Zion, combined with Yod, it makes the French J sound. And those of y'all who don't know, it's basically a combination of SH and Z sounds together to make the sound J. As in the word, give y'all an example. If y'all don't know, not familiar with the sound, jour. I might have put too many Z's. I really don't ever use this word. So, jour. I don't know. I really don't ever use this word, but it's an English word, and I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it. I don't know. And you don't lose it. When you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. This is one of those English words that I never use, so I guess I lost the spelling or whatever. But jour, basically, the Z here basically makes the same sound as these two letter combination will make. All right. Now I think there's just a couple more, and we've got one more. Looks like we only got one more left to discuss, and it'll be Sadiq. I kind of made it kind of big, but that's a little better. Sadiq. It usually makes the TS sound, but combined with the Yod, it makes the sound, the hard K sound with the throat kind of thing. As in chet. Alright. I think that's all the sounds and everything. I got everything. Now I'm gonna go through a couple things and then give y'all some words that y'all can start pronouncing and everything. First, we've got hey. In modern day Hebrew, this consonant alone means the, but different than other languages such as, English and Spanish and German and French and Italian and all those languages. This word is a prefix. Now, I learned that you have, I think it's pathic. But you also have a Dagesh forte, which is this dot here, and it goes into the next consonant. But if it's a guttural, such as, you got aleph, ayin, resh is sometimes, and I kind of forgot all of them. I think chet is one as well, guttural. Sometimes guttural. But anyway, the gutturals, they reject this here, which this here, when there is no Dagesh forte, then it changes the vowel down here. So when you change the vowel down here, it'll change the sound sometimes. And there's also different instances that this vowel will change as well. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you really won't need to know it. It may help you, definitely, but you won't have to because you'll just have to learn the word, how it's pronounced, basically. Next, you have wow. And it also has a vowel down at the bottom. But this is also a prefix that means and when it's attached to the beginning of the word. Hey, when it means the is attached to the beginning of a noun. This one is also attached to the beginning of a word. And you can totally have two prefixes like this here. Hey, meaning the, and, So let's have an example. The word kelev means dog. When you have hakelev, it means the dog. And when you have vehakelev, it means and the dog. And you could totally have two different prefixes right there. Okay? And that's that one. And another one that I just recently learned. I've known about hey and wow for a bit, dealing with the prefix, but there's also another two. And lamed basically means to the, and it's attached to a noun. So you could have lamed attached to the word for boy. This is the word for boy. Yeled. And you could have la yeled or la yeled, something like that is how you pronounce it, I'm pretty sure. I'm still learning, you guys. I don't have all the sounds down, but I'm getting there. But anyway, this would mean to the boy, which I found, which is interesting. But it would mean the boy. And that's something else. And a prefix that I really don't have down yet of what it means, I'll just let y'all know about it, is this one here, that bait or vate, whichever one it is, it's also a prefix. I'll let y'all know about that way y'all are aware of it, but I haven't quite gotten it down yet. Still getting there, getting all the prefixes. I'm still working on it. And now that I got that, I will shoot y'all some different words. I'm gonna back this camera up because I'm gonna have a bit that I'm gonna write down. So let's do this. You have dad and mom. Abba and Ima. Okay. Those are two words. You got dad, you got mom. You could do mother, father, daddy, mommy, kind of thing. And see, what's another one that I could do as well? Let's do. All right. So, y'all seen me write boy on there. Yellow. But you also have girl, which is yalda. Basically, same way to write boy, but you put hey. Yeah, that's not really much of a gap right there, but that's supposed to be hey right there. And basically that hey at the end of the word changes the whole meaning of the word. I'll get into this stuff more in other videos. But that's this one. And throw out some stuff. We have Melech, which means king. And that is Melech. Okay. And let's see, another one that we could do could be man. Let's do man. Givel. Now, this is Reish. I really don't know how to pronounce the R again, but this is Gimel Bet. Or no, Vet. I'm sorry, Reish. Givel. And if you wanted to say men, Givaim. Givaim. The first letter here is kind of quick. The Gimel is kind of a quick sound when you add Yod and Mem at the end. But this here is a masculine plural ending. Now, you will have Nashim, which means women, and that has this ending here. That is an exception, and that's Nashim. But anyway, that is an exception there. Basically, plural endings, you have your feminine plural ending, your feminine singular ending, and sometimes you may have this for a singular ending as well. And then you have your masculine plural ending. And I'll get into that more later on, before this video gets too long, which it's already really long. 53 minutes already. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. But yeah, guys, sorry it's really long. There was definitely a lot to talk about. But yeah, in the future, I'm definitely going to try to make a lot smaller videos. Definitely like smaller videos. I know longer videos, they don't get a whole lot of attention, unless it's a very popular topic. Yeah, y'all notice that y'all haven't watched a whole a long bit of a long video. So I definitely don't want to make a long video for y'all, but sorry that it's really long, but there was definitely a lot to talk about, and I will see y'all in the next video. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. Hope y'all continue to have a wonderful day or night, if it's night when you're watching this. Jesus loves you so very much. And those of y'all who don't know Jesus, I hope y'all choose his ways. He'll never force you. It's all by your will, if you're willing to do it. If you're willing to live life with him, it will be very rewarding. but it's not all about the rewards. It's all about Him. It's all about Jesus. God bless you. Jesus loves you. And I'll see you in the next one.